We're rolling. So now we fast forward to the 1950s. We're back in 39 when Pippi was a hardworking man. We moved forward to the time that I saw him when I was quite little. And now we're in the late 50s, I would think. I was born in 48, so I was about 10 years old. Now, Mimi and Pippi, they moved from the Hall Avenue old house, which is huge. They moved to Academy and Grand Mares. So there's the Grand Mares drainage ditch, which is a lot nicer than it sounds. Parkland behind there and everything. They bought a house, quite a nice house actually. It was a ranch and it had a garage on the side. And my Pippi, being the hard-working man that he is, he couldn't stop working. So he was in his 80s. Now, he built 2 brick walls in his 80s in my mom and dad's house. And I know he's quite old because I remember my parents had to clean up quite a bit after he left. But there was a half a brick wall in their kitchen. This is for ornamental purposes. And then a full brick wall down in the basement that actually acted as a divider and a support. So he still knew what he was doing back then. And while he was doing that, or before he was doing that, he got a job with the Coca-Cola company. So his job, and there's a picture of these old wooden cases. Many of you probably have never seen one, but I have. And then there's a thumbnail in the beginning of this video is a old wooden Coca-Cola case, and he got the job to go to Coca-Cola and pick up the old broken wooden cases, bring them back to his garage, and he would repair them. So my job on Saturdays, I would work with him, and we would load up the new ones that he fixed, and they would have the old looking wood and then one brand new looking wood on it after he was done. So we would go ahead and load them up. So he needed help because it would be a big stack. Picture a great big, oh yeah, he had a 1934 Ford stake truck. So it was a big truck cab on it, and then it was a flatbed. Just the only thing that you could see was just a big flat sheet of iron on top of wheels, and then there was a place to tie things off in the front, and on the side there's places to tie things up. So we would stack these coat cases up quite high. Picture a big stack of boxes, or a big bale of hay that you might see, all stacked up. It looks like it's way overload, but these things are empty. They weren't heavy. So it was my job to help him stack them up. I believe we had a ladder and we were stacking them up together. And then a big rope would be thrown over, and we'd chuck. Now, this guy was 80 years old, man. He was not a fast driver. So it'd take us like 20 minutes to go half a block, exaggeration. But I do remember his dry, calloused hands on a big steering wheel. This is standard everything. This was the grinding of the gears. Again, he was old. He wasn't shifting his gears too smoothly. I remember the grinding of the gears, and I was like, Pippi, are you braking the truck? And then he would steer, like instead of going like this to steer, he would go like this. This hand come over, meet this hand, and then stop it, and then go over. He'd pretty well stop on every corner. And he'd go around this way, and he meted it up. And then when it slid back, there would be this sandpaper sound, like shh, 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 as the wheel slid back through his dry hands. And then we'd take the journey all the way down. So we'd hit over to Howard Avenue, and then go up Howard Avenue. And at that time, it's gone now, of course, but at that time there was a Coca-Cola plant there where they actually made Coke. And he would back into that area. We'd offload all the new ones, and then take all the broken ones back. So we'd do the process all over again, unload, and there was some guys there that would help us out, and then we'd reload all the broken ones, tie them all down, and then chuck all the way back. And I assume I got paid for that. I don't remember getting paid, but I'm assuming maybe it was expected. I don't know. So and then all week, then I would start to help him repair things, start, and then he'd finish it up during the week. But he had fashioned himself this iron thing that went on the garage wall, and he would take the old case, slam it on this iron thing, and the old board would come flying off, and then he would nail new boards on all the time. And so it looked kind of odd because it had a brand new board and these old beat up cases with them on there. But that's what the Coca-Cola folks wanted. That's what they were paying him for, so that's what he did. Now, a bit of a sad story here. Later on, I must have been, I don't know exactly when Exilda died. Now, Exilda, his wife, Mimi, she passed away on a Christmas Eve. I would think it would be sometime in the 60s. I know I was with my Pippi in the house when he would sob himself to sleep. I remember that distinctly. So, I mean, I was young-ish. I would think it was well into the 60s, something like that. I was still going to school, so high school. So, well into the 60s. So she passed away on Christmas Eve, one of those Christmas Eves. And not sick, always happy, always hugging, always laughing. She was the party girl. Pippi was always the quiet one, and he wanted to go home early in the party. So someone would drive him home, drop him off. Exilda would still be at the party having a good time. So so she died sitting in her chair, her favorite chair, and she had a massive stroke, and she just had a massive stroke. Her head just went back, and she was dead. And that happened on the day, Christmas Eve day. So needless to say, that was a tearful Christmas Eve at our house when we were opening up the gifts that she had prepared, that she had bought. And we decided to go ahead and open them up. I think it was probably late Christmas Day by the time we got around doing it, because there was a lot of chaos at that time. And then, of course, the funerals after that. I find humor in almost everything. So at the funeral, of course, they were Mimi and Pippi to me. I didn't know Homedos and Exilda. And, the priest, it must have been at the Mass, the priest would say, "We pray for the repose of the soul of Exilda St. Ange." And I would nudge my mom and say, Mom, who's Exilda? Who's Exilda? She'd say, be quiet, we're at church. It's Mimi. So that's how I learned her first name. And I don't remember Homedos' death. I don't remember how he died. He died after, I think, of a broken heart, because it was shortly after. It was within a year after she passed that he passed away as well. Now you got to remember, this woman took total care of this man. He never cooked anything. He never cleaned anything in the house. He worked hard, and he provided really, really well. And Exilda was very ambitious, so she did everything for him, to the point of, he took a bath Saturday nights. I mean, I don't know what he smelled like all week, but anyway, he took a bath only Saturday nights. He'd go up the stairs to where the girls all were. The bathroom was next to them, but he had to go all the way upstairs. And the girls would all scatter when he come up and he took his bath. But Exilda would wash his hair. That's how dependent he was on her. So I remember laying on the couch after Exilda died. I remember laying on the couch, and the girls, his daughters, four of them, they didn't want to leave him alone for very long, because the girls were coming every day preparing meals for him, because he didn't know how to do it. He didn't know how to fry water. So they were preparing meals for him every day and taking care of him. And I remember my mom always going over there. That was in walking distance from Virginia Park, 3081 Virginia Park, where we lived. That was walking distance over to their house. It was a short walk, actually. So my mom was over there quite a bit, and they didn't want to leave him alone in the beginning. Not even at night they would leave him alone. So I did a couple shifts laying on the front room couch, and before I fell asleep, he was in bed, and I could just hear him sobbing, just just sobbing away, pining for his wife. And again, I think he died of a broken heart. So that's is that my last story? Yep, that's my last story about Homedos. There's much more. It may pop up in other videos, but he was quite a cool guy. A tear comes as I finish this.